Number 1. First blast. The sound tears across the sky before anyone sees where it began. Yusuf is in the street with his child in his arms. A piece of fruit slips from his hand and bursts on the stones. Pigeons lift from the roofline, then lock in the air as if the wind has turned to iron. Allah says in the Quran that the trumpet will be blown, and those in the heavens and the earth will fall unconscious, except whom Allah wills. The air presses into Yusuf's chest. He pulls the child higher and covers the small ears with both palms. The sound still goes through skin and bone. The child opens his mouth. No voice comes out. Window panes rattle in their frames. Metal shutters shiver over the shop fronts. Above him the clouds open into long white seams. Light shows through them in a color he does not know. The sun trembles behind the torn sky. Dust jumps off the road with each shake under his feet. Yusuf turns toward home, but the street is already pitching under him. He tightens his grip around the child. Overhead the sky keeps splitting. Number 2. Mass swoon. At the market, the sound arrives in the middle of ordinary motions. A man weighing dates loses the scale from his hand. A woman counting coins lets them spill from her palm. They ring across the stones and strike the sandals of people who are already collapsing. Bodies drop where they stand. No one reaches out to catch the fall. A donkey folds under the cart shafts. A cat slides from the wall. Birds fall out of the air and hit the awnings. Allah says that those in the heavens and the earth will fall unconscious. Yusuf goes down against a wooden stall with the child trapped between his chest and the plank. Warm boards press into his ribs. The child's fist still twists in the front of his shirt. Then the fingers loosen. Dates stay piled in their baskets. A scarf hangs from one nail and does not finish falling. Dust lifts from the road and waits in the light above the bodies. Yusuf's cheek is against the stall. The child lies across his arms. Between the overturned coins, nothing moves. Number 3. World unravels. Before Yusuf's sight goes dark, the earth begins to come apart around him. Mountains break loose from their places. Long ridges of stone buckle and slide as if the ground beneath them has been kicked upward. River water pulls away from its banks. The sea retreats and leaves the dark floor exposed. Ships settle crooked on wet sand and rock. Streets split open. Cracks run beneath walls and climb across the faces of buildings. Yusuf lifts his head from the stall for one last look. The child is still against him. Glass bursts from upper windows and spins through the air. Far off, the horizon opens into a line of fire-colored dust. Allah says that the heavens will be rolled up like a scroll. Above the city, the sky gathers inward. Light drains out of it. The sun shifts. The moon is out of place. Stars scatter across a ceiling that no longer holds. Roofs fold. Towers sink into smoke. The crack on the horizon keeps widening until it seems to move through the whole land at once. When Yusuf's eyes finally shut, the world around him is already tearing out of its shape. Number 4. Shrinking time. Inside Yusuf's room, every small action is caught halfway through. A pen lies across an open sheet of paper. The last line stops in the middle of a word, and the ink dries there. The wall clock ticks once, then holds between 2 numbers. Keys slide out of Yusuf's hand and strike the floor beside the door. A cup tips on the table. Water pours over the rim and hangs in a curved sheet before it can break apart. A phone screen is still bright. A message sits half-typed and unsent. By the window, the curtain lifts on one breath of wind and stays there. The latch is half-turned. One shoe is on the mat. The other is still under the bed. A child's toy on the floor has gone silent with one wheel turned toward the ceiling. Nothing in the room reaches the end of what it started. The tea beside the chair cools untouched. The page stays open. The message waits on the glass. On the tiles near the threshold, Yusuf's keys lie where they fell. Number 5, second blast, rising. Then the silence breaks. The second blast runs across the plain. Fingers jerk in the dust, chests fill, eyes open all at once. Bodies rise from the ground that held them. Allah says in the Quran that the trumpet will be blown again, and they will be standing, looking on. Yusuf pushes himself upright and pulls the child with him. Dust clings to their clothes. The child is on his feet, staring into the distance. Around them there are no stalls, no streets, no rooms from the world they knew. Mountains, shops, alleys, walls, roofs, roads. All of it is gone. The ground runs flat in every direction. Over it stands a crowd with no place left to return to. Some people turn in circles, searching for houses that are no longer there. Some stare at their own hands as if the skin should explain what happened. Yusuf wipes dirt from the child's face. Around them bodies keep rising by the thousands and then the millions until the horizon is covered with people. A movement begins at the edge of the plain and gathers force through the whole crowd. Yusuf grips the child's hand and is carried forward with the rest. Number 6, the fork. What you grasp. They move, but they do not move in the same condition. Allah says that they will come out of the graves and hurry to their Lord. Faces lift, eyes dart, hands are full. One man clutches prayer beads tangled around 2 fingers. Another drags a ring of keys that knocks against his thigh. Another keeps a dead phone pressed to his palm as if it can still answer. Yusuf feels the small mushaf under his arm. The cover is rubbed smooth at the corners. When he opens his hand, the edge of the binding has marked his skin. The child stays close at his side. The boy's fingers keep finding Yusuf's sleeve whenever the crowd surges. Around them, people keep looking down at what has come up with them. Some hold pages, some hold ledgers. Some hands open and close on empty air. Yusuf pulls the mushaf tight against his chest. Dust settles along the spine. The child presses into his side. Across the plain, hands keep tightening around beads, glass, leather, and metal. Number 7. Visible divide. The separation begins without a voice calling names. The plain opens into moving lines. Allah says they will come in groups. The groups show first in faces. Some faces are bright, some are dark. Yusuf walks with the child beside him and the mushaf against his chest. The boy keeps pace without stumbling. To their left, people move with steady steps. To their right, others tug at one another, turn back, search the crowd, and hold useless things harder the longer they walk. A set of keys knocks against a trembling wrist. A black phone screen catches one flash of light and goes dark again. Prayer beads slip through another hand, one grain at a time. No wall stands between the lines, but the distance between them keeps widening. Mothers lose sight of sons. Friends who stood shoulder to shoulder in the world drift onto different paths across the same ground. Yusuf does not let go of the child. Ahead of them, one line keeps moving. Off to the other side, a man stops, looks at what is in his own hands, and falls behind. Number 8. The still plain. The plain holds every voice and gives none of them back. Above it is a new sky. Under it is a new earth, flat and bare to the edges of sight. Yusuf stands with the child at his side and the mushaf in both hands. Around them the crowd has stopped. No market remains, no street remains, no doorway, no roof, no sea. Only the plain and the waiting. Allah says in the Quran that the trumpet will be blown. Then they will stand, looking on. Books are opened, scales are set, deeds are brought forward. Some lips move, some knees shake. Some eyes stay fixed on the ground. The child leans against Yusuf's arm and does not speak. Far across the plain, the lines hold their places under the still sky. Tonight, the book is still within reach. The page can still be opened before this waiting begins. On the plain, Yusuf keeps the mushaf against his chest and waits.